Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and I am here to tell you that Batman is going to make you a fascist. Yeah, if you like superheroes, if you like Batman, you will eventually become a fascist. According to Alan Moore, who says a lot of crazy stuff, we're going to talk about this. This is not the first time that there has been a link between Batman and fascism, even though Bruce Wayne spends billions of dollars helping the people of Gotham, not wanting anything in return. But there we go. Anyway, we're gonna talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, rants. Guys, it's almost 277,000 subs. Thank you for the support. Greatly appreciated. And a hat tip to Darren, who actually sent the link to this version of the article. I saw it going around. I wasn't exactly sure what was going down with this, but Alan Moore did an interview, and Alan Moore tends to say some pretty crazy stuff. I do admire his work, but I think he's slipping a little bit. But this is not the first time that Batman has been accused of pushing fascism. In fact, let's see, this is from 2012. The Dark Knight Rises is a pro-fascist movie. We've got Salon from 2012 as well. The Dark Knight Rises, Christopher Nolan's evil masterpiece. This is 2015, The Fascist We Deserve, the authoritarian ideology of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. So it's not a new idea, but because Alan Moore said it, it's going to make headlines, guys. And what is going on here? Geeky did a video the other day talking about how they were dredging up the initial backlash to Ahsoka Tano from 2008. Now they're dredging up the Dark Knight too. What the hell is going on? She-Hulk brought Daredevil to the MCU with a classic adventure. What, sex? Is that... Anyway, let's talk about this. Originally, it was in The Guardian. Of course, The Guardian would run something like this. Alan Moore, I'm definitely, positively, absolutely done with comics this time for sure. Definitely, I'm never coming back this year, maybe next year. I don't know. But CBR had a version of it. Alan Moore calls infantile interest in superheroes a precursor to fascism. Award-winning comic author Alan Moore, aka Crazy Old Man, criticizes the popularity of superheroes, claiming it encourages infantilization, and is a precursor to fascism. It makes you a man baby. It turns you into a man baby, literally turns you into a man baby. Award-winning comic book creator suggested he believes the popularity of superheroes leads to fascism, exemplified by recent political shifts. In an interview with The Guardian, Moore discussed the perception of comic books and how they may have changed over the decades. For the writer, comic books were primarily targeting young boys. It was titles such as his own Watchmen that, by Moore's own admission, may have made the medium appear more accessible for mature audiences. He explained, "There were an awful lot of headlines saying comics have grown up. I tend to think that no, comics hadn't grown up. There were a few titles that were more adult than people were used to, but the majority of comics titles were pretty much the same they'd always been. It wasn't comics growing up. I think it was more comics meeting the emotional age of the audience coming the other way." Moore went even further and stated, "I said around 2011 that I thought that had serious and worrying implications for the future if millions of adults were queuing up to see Batman movies, because that kind of infantilization, the urge towards simpler times, simpler realities, that can often be a precursor to fascism." Before referencing former President Donald Trump's controversial rise to power and noting the biggest films of the time were superhero films. Okay, so the biggest movies were superhero films, and because of that, Donald Trump gets elected. Come the hell on. For reference, when Trump was elected in 2016, almost half of the top 10 highest grossing films in the US were superhero films: Captain America: Civil War, Deadpool, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Suicide Squad. In the interview with The Guardian, Moore declared he's finished with comic books entirely, stating the industry and all that came with it has become unbearable for him. Notably, Moore has not published a comic book in 5 years. I'm definitely done with comics. Definitely, positively, absolutely done with comics. I cannot believe that this is where we're going. No, I totally can. I totally can. You know, this is very typical Alan Moore, but it's not just him. It's not just him. It's actually several people who have been trying to paint Batman as being problematic, Batman as being a rich white man's power fantasy, et cetera, et cetera. So if you go out to the original article here on The Guardian, Superman was the creation of working class Jewish kids, was originally very much a New Deal American, but he got, this is their opinion, a New Deal American, but he got co-opted, just as the early spiky anarchist Mickey Mouse was very quickly modified into a suburbanite who wears short-sleeved shirts and has 2 nephews. Moore's at least cautiously cheered another of his creations, the Guy Fawkes mask drawn by David Lloyd for V for Vendetta, has been adopted as a symbol of resistance. I can't endorse everything that people who take that mask as an icon might do in the future, of course, but I'm heartened to see that it has been adopted by protest movements widely across the world. It's become a symbol of the alt-right. If you wear a Guy Fawkes mask, you're edgy. We do need protest movements now, probably more than we've ever done before. His caution towards the cultural turn we've taken extends to the digital realm. He shuns new tech to the extent that we speak on a landline. So I can't see the lavishly bearded face from which his gentle Northampton burr issues. When the internet first became a thing, I made the decision that this doesn't sound like anything that I need. I had a feeling there might be another shoe to drop, and regarding this technology, as it turned out, there was an Imelda Marcos wardrobe full of shoes to drop. I don't disagree with him there. I felt that if society was going to morph into a massive social experiment, then it might be a good idea if there was somebody outside the petri dish. He makes do instead with an internet-savvy assistant. He can bring me porn, cute pictures of cats, and abusive messages from people. There we go, guys. There we go. Alan Moore has spoken. Superheroes are turning everyone into fascists, but he's cheering the use of the Guy Fawkes mask, which has been co-opted by edgy 4chan users. And also going off the grid, which sounds like something the alt-right would do. So it's like, whatever, Alan Moore. There you go, guys. So is this why there's so many people hell-bent on completely destroying these heroes? Because they really do feel deep down that these heroes represent fascism. And that's why they have to do as much to change them, belittle them, embarrass them, turn them into something they're not, have Captain America get lectured and turn on his country, basically. And there was one comic where he was getting lectured about how awful America was, and then it was like, come on, this is Captain America. This isn't Captain America. Batman, who gets schooled in The Batman. He gets told to check his privilege by Catwoman. It's like, come on. Yeah, so we've got a lot of people working in comics who I think agree with Alan Moore, who really hate these heroes. They really do hate these heroes and hate what they stand for. And, when you're viewing the characters you're working on as basically being Nazi adjacent characters, you're going to do everything you can do to destroy and belittle them, because you always punch Nazis, right? That's what you do. I'm sure your corporate owners really, really appreciate the care that you've given these characters. Clearly, they've been asleep at the wheel for the last half a decade or so, as many of these characters have been completely run into the ground. I think that a day of reckoning is coming, and reckoning with a W. I think that we're going to see these companies, these comic book publishers anyway, get gutted, and possibly they'll be outsourcing these heroes to people who actually give a shit, who don't have disdain for the characters they're working on. One can hope, right? I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.